All right, and thank you for checking out Elevator Pitch. And we are here with Cecily, lovely vocalist from Washington, D.C. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
Cool, cool. Well, I just wanted to ask you some questions. You had a performance here, and who are the two gentlemen that you had with you performing?
Yeah, on guitar was Zach Cutler, and on percussion is Leroy Boogie Greer.
Cool, awesome. So that's a pretty kind of stripped down arrangement with just two musicians. Obviously, you're playing in an elevator. I'm sure you play with other bands also. Is there a benefit to a smaller arrangement or a larger arrangement? You're a very large vocalist as far as like your voice and everything like that. Do you prefer a smaller arrangement or a bigger one, or is it?
Well, it depends. I like it all, actually. I like being able to do it all. I mean, I think my preference is, like a 4-piece rhythm section, drums, bass, guitar, keys, because I love keyboard, I love road sounds and all that. So, but I like this setup too. I mean, the thing about Zach and Boogie is that they've been playing together for so many years that I know I can trust them together. They'll lock in together and I can just do my thing. So I like playing with them for that reason, and but it's cool to do everything.
Yeah, and I can understand that. It kind of gives your voice different places to set in with different setups and things like that. Yeah. So I think that's important. Now, looking at your history in D.C., you're an artist who's been formally recognized, won awards. I noticed that you've won Whammies, which are a Washington, D.C. Music Award, one particularly for your track Spirit Tell Me. Is that correct?
Yes.
Right. So would you mind talking a little bit about kind of the experience of formal recognition? Because I think a lot of musicians strive for that. Some of them don't strive for it. Some of them see that as a goal. Some of them don't see it as a goal. How does that fit into kind of what you do as an artist and obviously someone who's gotten that recognition? Do you think it makes a difference in how you approach your music?
Yeah, I think, it does feel good because so many times as independent artists, you're just trying to get noticed in the fray. There's just so much going on that it's hard to get any type of recognition. So when you get it, it does feel like an affirmation, but at the end of the day, you don't create to win awards, like that's kind of, it's a recognition that reminds you to keep going. So it's, I have immense gratitude for that. But I've definitely had moments where, something big has happened and it doesn't hit me the way I think it would. It's just like, it just feels like, oh yeah, that was cool. Because it's really more about the connection. It's about the music itself. It's about the shows. It's about creating and, storytelling and, really hearing people talk about how the music has impacted them, So I think the awards are wonderful. It's wonderful to be recognized, but it's also, it's kind of just like a little shiny thing over here. It's not the substance of it all.
Right.
Yeah.
And I noticed in your background that is, I guess, education-wise, it looks like you went to school for Black Studies and Political Science. Does that figure into your lyrics? I know you kind of talked about some of the songs you did and some of them did with love in a variety of different ways, but do you feel that, particularly also being in Washington, D.C., does that kind of political awareness or that deep kind of cultural connection come through in your music, or is it something that's just kind of there in your life and kind of plays into it but doesn't really drive what you're doing?
That's a really good question. Yes and no. So I think, like when I was in school, and my 10-year in college reunion is next year, so it's been a little while. But when I was in school, everything was very heady, like analyzing, all different types of stuff, analyzing texts and by Black authors and historians and, doing a lot of research and on poverty rates and, development, international affairs and all this stuff. Everything was very heady. And I think that it took me reading texts that were more about spirit in order to kind of connect everything in ways that are meaningful. So, I mean, for me, like the last project I put out called Awakening Part 1 is all about exploring unconditional love, and it's really pulls from these 3 different books I read that are about unconditional love by a Zen Buddhist teacher named Thich Nhat Hanh, also a book by Bell Hooks. So I think that, it's like I'm still love to read, and I still love to research, and I still love to learn, and particularly about Black history. And but also, I think that for me, it's been more important to dig into the spirit behind everything and get to the heart of it, if that makes any sense. Like, an interviewer asked me a few months ago, if my work speaks to social justice, and I said, I think it does, but my idea of social justice is to talk about radical love, So I think that for me, that's kind of been the center, but everything that I've done throughout the years and everything I've learned has fed into that understanding.
Yeah, and I think when you look at musical genres and things of that sort, clearly you're a soul singer, but you embody a lot of other things. And I think that is kind of one of the premier elements of the Black experience in America is soul. And it comes forth in a variety of different ways. And clearly you've tapped into your own talents and being able to deliver that. So we appreciate you once again for coming through the ICA to do that. And we always ask people, we got this beautiful elevator here. Have you ever performed in an elevator before?
No, never. This is the first time.
Cool. What do you think about the experience?
It was cool. I mean, it honestly had better acoustics than I anticipated.
Right. Well, you didn't have too many people in there. We've crammed quite a few people in there so far. So yeah, it was a great vibe. Cecily, we appreciate you coming to Richmond, coming to ICA, and sharing your talents with us. So thank you for being here on Elevator Pitch.
Thank you. Appreciate you.